Why do my relationships not work? This is a very important question, and a lot of people are asking that question from time to time. In fact, many are asking it on a regular basis. Why do my relationships not work? Okay, couple things here. First, impression or notion of relationship. How do you see relationship? How do you understand it? Some people have the wrong notion of relationship. Some people think it's a place I go in and the other person solves all my problem, and he solves all my financial problem, and she solves all my sexual problem. Is that how you see relationship? If so, you're wrong. Do you think it's a place I go to and I'll no longer have any issues at all? If you think you're wrong, how do you see relationship? Are you one of those who have unrealistic expectation of relationship? If you do, you're wrong. Relationship is something that you take gradual. You go in, you study first. I'm one of those that believe you cannot love who you do not know. Knowing goes before loving. Very important. Many people fall in love too early, too quickly, and all of a sudden they realize that this person is not somebody I thought he was or she was. Do you fall in love too quickly? It should be a gradual thing. It should go gradually from acquaintance to friendship to relationship to courtship before you talk of marriage. Many have married total strangers. Many have fallen in love with people who are in real fact contradictory to their own personality. It's not just the problem of the other person. What about your own problem? There are people who, what I call, too needy too early. It happens more in ladies, but also happens in guys. Too needy too early. Somebody becomes your friend today. By tomorrow, your rent is due. Your birthday is coming. Your mother's arthritis needs some help. Your father's financial needs. Your brother's GCE exam. Your sister's matriculation and needs money. Too needy too early. If you do that, you're the one that's making it not to work. Even the richest person will not want to start spending money immediately in a new relationship. If you do that, you're giving impression that you're here for the wrongest reasons. The other person must begin to wonder, what am I getting myself into? So you gotta ask yourself that question: how do I see a relationship, and how do I understand it? It is very critical that you also look at your own story. There are people who are still fighting some demons, people who are still fighting some childhood trauma. It is important that you get healed first before you jump into relationship, because if you're not healed, you make mistakes. There are some things you will carry over, and some things you carry over. You'll be seeing the last person or the previous person in the new person. The things he will do or she will do, and immediately your mind unconsciously goes back to the last person that did similar thing to you. Were you abused as a child? Were you abused in your previous relationships? If so, you need to get healed. You need help. You need a therapist. You need to see somebody who is an expert in that area to help you. Some were abused as children, sexually, morally, or verbally, whatever it is. Any form of abuse you have can affect the relationship that you have as an adult. Are you abused in the house? Some people were abused, not directly but indirectly. Their own mother's or father's marriage was hell on earth, and they grew up seeing the wrongest notion of marriage. And before you know it, they build up defenses that you unconsciously build up, and it affects whoever you meet, whoever you start friendship or relationship with. Because in your mind, I'm not going to tolerate that rubbish from you, like my mother tolerated from my father, or like my father tolerated from my mother. You don't know that those things are consciously in you. Now you're already fighting, ready to fight even the new person, even the person you've not met, because you have unhealthy notion of marriage growing up. There are many things that make relationship not work. But another thing is, are you attracted to the wrongest persons? Do you even ask yourself, is this person good enough for me? Or am I good enough for this person? Do you ask yourself that question? Because many just jump in only to later find out that this is not the kind of person but you should have seen it before now. I mean, a man in his 50s and you start dating him without asking whether he was married before, whether he's even married now. What made you think that a man in his 50s was never married, or he's just not married just like that? He must have a story. Either he was married or never married because of a reason. Either because he had issues or maybe financial. There must be a reason why he's not yet married, or maybe he doesn't believe in marriage. The same thing with a lady in her 40s or 50s. There must be a story there. What is it? Maybe she's not lucky. Maybe something is going on. These questions are important. Do you ask questions about children? Does he or she have children, especially if they are older in age? You marry a man in his 50s and you never ask questions whether they have children. And then at some point in the relationship, you say, I'm disappointed, he broke my heart, I just found I had 3 children. Why didn't you ask that question earlier on based on his age? There are a couple of things you need to know as you jump into a relationship. Very, very important. There are many people who just date somebody without knowing them. All you do is to hang out, drink, eat, and go home. No, it's a time wasted. Well wasted, actually. Relationship is a fact-finding moment. Fact-finding. Get to know him, get to know her, what he does, what she does, how she sees life, how he sees things, his hopes, his aspirations. Begin to wonder what this person will look like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. There are people who are not ambitious at all. People who are not hungry enough, like I like to put it, not hungry enough for success. People who are so complacent, anything goes. Guess what? They will not change because you say I do to them. This is who they are, who they have always been. So how do you see relationship? It's very, very critical that you begin to analyze it and begin to ask yourself, what do I myself need to do to make it work? It's not just about saying it does not work. What do I need to do to make it work? Do I come across as a genuine person? Do I come across to this person as somebody who really cares? People are smart. People are not fools. If you're playing them, they will know, they will suspect. If it's all about what you will get, they will know, they will suspect. And people like to give us back what we give them. Even if the person at the beginning shows a lot of interest and love and affection, at some point, the more they discover that you're not genuine, the more they withdraw, the more they amend, the more they adjust, and vice versa. So that question needs to be asked. How do I come across? Do I come across as genuine? You can actually make somebody who is not genuine become genuine, because your genuinity can actually influence them. Your genuineness can also make them become genuine with time. So it is important to begin to look at these things very well. I mean, I share the frustration of many people, especially the ladies. Oh, you start a friendship or relationship, all of a sudden it doesn't work. Another one doesn't work. Another one doesn't work. Yet, it can feel very frustrating. But again, we need to make sure that we do our part. Do our part by asking the right questions, observing this person, especially those things they do unconsciously. In fact, how they treat others. Because somebody can pretend treating you well, but what about how they treat others? Because maybe they are treating you well because they just want to impress you. And when they now are sure that they have you, then their real person, their real color will now come out. So how they treat others should give you an idea how they will treat you later. So I hope that some of these things will guide and help us in our relationships, that we will make the right decisions, make the right choices. They say before wedding, open 2 eyes. After wedding, you now close one. Because there are things you see in wedding that you don't need to see a lot of it or probe too much into, otherwise it will cost you your marriage. Next time we talk about marriage. All right. I hope this helps. God bless.